YouTube, we're back at it again at Unmasked. And up on a late night one here. I'm doing a late night because it's for the White Knights. Going to talk about the white savior complex that some seem to have, and they've been spewing of it ever since, for about a month. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but we evidently have some race issues now in this country. You know, they seem to pop up every 4 years when the Democrats need votes. So, interesting enough, this year, as y'all seen, we've had the protests and the riots and all that good stuff. And now the seems like the cities are more violent as ever. Maybe the police have decided that they don't want to or can't do as much. So here we are in 2020, and luckily for all of us, though, we have the white savior who's going to come and save us all. And the white savior, you know them all. You know, they have been trying to get the minorities and the poor white people to vote for him for years. And over the last decade, and especially the last couple of years, there's been a very large amount of people walking away. And, you know, it's interesting to me that these people that seem to care so much about black folks, they seem like they might be the most racist people. And y'all know you got the people that are blatantly racist and they'll say whatever and be outspoken about it. On, you know, all different cultures has that, and that's the outspoken racist. But then you have the closet racist. And I think a lot of these people, and not all of them, maybe just half of them, but at least half of them, seems to me like they're scared of black people. And maybe a lot of people that live in the suburbs, they watch these the city news, and they seem to report a lot about black folks committing crimes. And you know, you get out in the areas where it's just white people living, and they watch that news, and they might start thinking that they need to be scared of black people. So we've seen a lot of things happen with white people doing a lot of crazy stuff, and it's funny to me, a lot of the things that they are doing. I got a couple pictures I'm going to show here. This first one here, you get it up. These white people have that white guilt. And the only thing that can make me think they have white guilt is if they're racist, you know, because the ones of us that, and from all cultures, once again, the ones of us that go around and just treat people like we treat anybody, no matter what their skin color is, or no matter if they're male or female, just treat people the same. And that seems to I don't know if these people think that they are superior in some way, and they don't see that that's racist. It cracks me up. But I think the best thing that you can do is to always know that everybody has some sort of racism in them, or prejudice in them, or bigotry. And when you realize that, you can work on that stuff. But when you think that you're not racist, and maybe these people have just thought that their whole life, and now they've gone nuts and want to apologize. But I want to show you this first picture. And I'm not even sure if I see any black folks here, but I got this, and this is white people getting down and submitting to, I don't know, maybe one or two black people up here. I can't see too many black people. It's funny to me that these people that are so concerned about black lives, they never seem to make it down into the hoods to protest. You know, go when you get to these cities, get out of the downtown and go into the neighborhoods. If you really want to make a change, go out in the neighborhoods. I don't see that happening though. But let me show another picture here. This is funny stuff. I think this one's hilarious. So you got these dumbasses right here. I mean, this is hilarious. They are bound up like slaves. It's sad, actually. I don't know. It's hilarious. But and then you got these two, probably a black couple, on the ends of them, like they're the slave owners. And I'm gonna blow this up on my screen here. This is hilarious. They got this poor little boy and this little girl. To me, you guys just it makes me think that something bad happened to a black person, and you're scared to death that these black people are going to come out in your neighborhood and tear it up because you're racist, and you think black people are going to tear your shit up. Look at this kid's face. That's hilarious. But if these people really cared, if they really wanted to show that they were sorry for, you know, maybe their bloodlines were slaves. I don't know if they proved that or not, but you know, go ahead and be a slave to this couple right here for a whole year. Put your money where your mouth is. You know, this is silliness. This ain't doing nothing. What do you think this does? You think black people are stupid. Well, why don't you just be their slave for a year? The whole lot of you here, this whole family, and then and then we'll think you're about something. But until that, you're a fool. So here we got some. Hold on, let me get this next picture here. We got some more bound up. Let me pull this up. I want to get a better look at it. Got a family here, and they're in chains, and maybe they should be in chains. I mean, this is disgraceful. I'm not for sure there's much worse than a self-loathing white person. Of course, I don't think you should be self-loathing no matter what color you are. Be proud of who you are. Don't be self-loathing. That's terrible. But look at this. So sorry, it says. You're not sorry. If you were sorry, be this guy. What is this guy back here? Be his slave for a whole year. 1 year. And that ain't going to make up for the however many hundreds of years, but do it for 1 year, and we might think you care. But to me, it just looks like you're racist and an idiot. This is sad. Sad. I got a video, little clip I'm going to play of, let's see what is, I can't remember what his name is. Got a couple videos I'm going to play. This is Corey Alexander Haywood, the cranky conservative. And Corey is a black dude here. Let me get it on the screen. Who tells us how he feels about when us white people want to. This is a funny situation here. The Chick-fil-A CEO, and I saw this. He got down and was shining this guy's shoes, and told us all white people need to shine black people's shoes. This guy's hilarious. I don't know if he's worried about losing black customers or what. I don't know, man. A lot of people like Popeyes. I'd be worried about losing it to Popeyes more than anything. But let's hear what this what Corey Alexander Haywood says about the CEO.
So the CEO of Chick-fil-A thinks the solution to racism is for white people to go around shining black people's shoes. That's not a good idea, sir. Sir, it's just not. For a couple of reasons. First, who wears shoes that need to be shined in 2020?
When you're Chick-fil-A rich, you might wear shoes that need to be shined. But I'd say this dude is pretty out of touch of any kind of reality that we live in.
Who's walking around in loafers that need a good spit shine? Who? I wear Nike, sir. I wear Jordans. I wear tennis. I don't need my shoes shine. So it's not 1928, sir. Mr. CEO of Chick-fil-A. First of all, let me go back. White people in general, what is going on with you? Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. What is going on? I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. You guys are kissing our feet. You're taking racial sensitivity classes. You're shining shoes. What era are we living in? Right? What is going on? Look. Mr. CEO of Chick-fil-A, I don't need my shoes shined, sir. I need some nuggets. I need some chicken strips. If you want to help me and help black people, give us a lifetime supply of chicken strips. I want a 50-piece, actually scratch that. I want 400 nuggets for the 400 years of slavery that my ancestors went through. Give me 400 nuggets, waffle fries, in a tall
That ain't a bad deal. He said a lifetime. I was like, oh man, that ain't fair. Shit, give the man 400 nuggets. Give him 400 nuggets and some waffle fries.
Coke. That's what I want, okay? You can start with that. In fact, open Chick-fil-A on Sunday. How about you do that to combat racism? We don't need our shoes shined, sir. I don't understand. Give me the chicken. That's what I want. What is it? You know what? I'm done. So
That's hilarious. That's hilarious, and I'm gonna put this video link down in the description. Corey Alexander Haywood, the cranky conservative. I just came across that and had to show that. I was cracking up. And I have another video I want to show, and this is a little more in depth. I'm gonna let it run for a little while. I watched first little bit of it, so I'm gonna commentate on it and then kind of react on the rest because I'm not for sure exactly what he has to say, but it seemed like he had some good points here at the beginning of what I heard. Let me get it set up. Still on beginner status, trying to figure things out in the tech world. I'm behind, trying to speak up, stop being silent, trying to speak up for conservative people, not necessarily Republicans, but all conservative people. Anybody who leans to the right, who likes liberty. This over here. And I got to pull this up so I can tell you who this is. Slow go here. Interact. Let me pull this up. This is it's titled White Liberal Saviors, and that's what my video is about, is these white liberal saviors. This is a good video. This is from Consider Culture. The white savior character is one that has been seen in films for many years. Over the past several years, Hollywood loves to produce stories about blacks who are down on their luck, but who are able to succeed with the aid of great white hero. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people that might be watching this, they might think they don't want to hear this, but there's a lot of truth to this. Anything where there is liberalism, it's like there's an elite class, and then there's everybody the elite class needs to save. And, you know, I think a lot of black folks see it as it being racist, but, you know, I think you'll see it with, that's how they treat poor whites as well. And I think that's why a lot of the poor whites left the DNC over the last 10 years. And now I think we're seeing a lot of black folks making the same move. And I don't know exactly where they're going to vote, but the DNC is about to be busted, in my opinion. Let's see what Consider Culture is saying here.
Directed against
Let me start that.
definition, not rhetoric, is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior. Now, what whites on the left claim to do is argue against discrimination and antagonism. However, they seem to leave out the entire prejudice portion. They continuously prejudge black people, considering us to be helpless, childlike victims who desperately need their help, thus making themselves out to be superior beings that are put here to help us unfortunate, inferior black folks out, one welfare case at a time.
You know, I want to show a couple of these videos to show you that black folks ain't falling for this shit no more. They're not. You know, I hate to say this, but these white liberals, I think they need to go talk to black people. Stop speaking for them. Go talk to some. Stop watching the ones on TV. Go talk to real ones on the street and treat them like a normal human being. You don't have to shine their shoes. Just go up and have a conversation, because you need some culture in your life, I think.
Ami Horowitz conducted a few man-on-the-street interviews where he asked white liberals how voter ID laws could suppress the black vote. Their responses said a lot about how some white liberals view black people.
Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get IDs you do over the internet. Does that also would make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay.
Do these black folks live in the mountains? I think they're talking about Appalachian people here. You know, don't have internet access, and it's hard to get to the license bureau. I don't know about it in the city, man. It's probably not.
An internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
A lot of people have smartphones, but you might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there.
Black. This is sad. I shouldn't be laughing, but this girl is racist as hell, and I guarantee she's probably out there. She's probably out there protesting for BLM in the suburbs, not in the hood.
Just because they're not aware or they're not informed.
I also think there's a repression of black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the African Americans.
This way of thinking about blacks in a way that's so demeaning and potentially harmful doesn't only reside in the minds of oblivious white college students on Berkeley's far left campus. It also clouds the minds of Democrat politicians and black leaders who organize protests to beg whites for their sympathy and help.
Say voting rights. The battle. We must fight. And we will win.
Of course, blacks on the left don't see it as begging, nor do they see how it makes us look pitiful. To them, it is something that we are owed for past grievances.
When we pass a stimulus budget, for instance, we need to specifically think about helping people who have been injured in our past because they've occupied a certain place in our country. That's what the world looks like to me. You know, it's a consciousness thing, which we don't have at all right now.
Eventually, you have to realize in life, the more that people keep giving to you, is the more you're going to be held back. And I guess that's why I like the right-wing, type of thinking, where you just got to go get it. You got to go get it, and sitting back and expecting other people to do it for you. They're just going to throw you crumbs for one thing, and they're going to need something out of you, like your vote, and you're going to get nothing. Just going to continue in the same life, and eventually you have to break those chains and get off the Democrat plantation and find some liberty and freedom.
But many blacks who actually lived in that horrible past didn't have nearly the same thoughts. Frederick Douglass was once asked, "What shall we do with the Negro?" To that, he simply replied, "I have had but one answer from the beginning. Do nothing with us. Your doing with us has already played the mischief with us. Do nothing with us. If the apples will not remain on the tree of their own strength, if they are worm-eaten at the core, if they are early ripe and disposed to fall, let them fall. I am not for tying or fastening them on the tree in any way, except by nature's plan. And if they will not stay there, let them fall. And if the Negro cannot stand on his own legs, let him fall also. All I ask is give him a chance to stand on his own legs. Let him alone." Frederick Douglass simply wished for...
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I don't know if I've ever heard that before. Frederick Douglass said a lot there. That ain't just for black folks. That's for all folks. That's for everybody. You gotta let people fall. That's just something that has to happen. It's one thing we don't allow in the economy. We don't, when things fail, we don't allow them to fail. We want to prop them up, and whenever they do that, of course, just the higher ups make out, and the rest of us, continue to get peed on. Just more liberal policies that have plagued all of us, and black people too. So I think, as white conservatives, as white right-wing people, we have to realize that, black people, a lot of times that live in these cities, maybe they ain't around a lot of white people, and they probably don't think of us favorably because the rich white liberals have run their cities into the ground. And even if they got black leadership there, they're paid by the DNC. And these liberal policies are to keep people down, to keep poor whites down, to keep all minorities down. It's the elitist club, and we don't belong. The white patriots don't belong. The minorities don't belong. They just want us to get in line and do what they say. Put your mask on. Not me.
For blacks to have an opportunity to succeed on our own. He knew that the government's meddling would pose even more of a challenge for us, as it certainly does today. Yet, so many of us see power in victimhood.
If you can do this to a successful artist like Meek Mill, you can do this to many around the country. And that is why I wanted to come and why I wanted to say that he is representative of something far more than his stardom. He's a symbol of the abuse of the system.
Our minds seemingly have been washed with the liberal ideas of being needy and infantile, a people in need of a government parental figure to come and save us. So where do these ideas come from?
That's the elitist thought, that we're too stupid. And I saw it in the last election with a lot of liberals I know on social media. I would see them talking trash about Trump supporters, how they're stupid and uneducated. And, it's amazing that they hold this education on their shoulders like that, because, I don't know, man, a lot of them got ripped off. Went to college, paid a lot of money, and they didn't learn shit. Didn't learn nothing. Learned a bunch of fantasy crap.
One need look no further than Hollywood and the liberal media.
Stop the car. Big Mike. Hey, my name's Leanne Toohey. My kids go to Wingate. You said you were going to the gym? School gym's closed. Why were you going to the gym? Big Mike, why?
I'm gonna leave it at that. Getting into the Hollywood stuff here, and we know Hollywood sucks. They're doing crazy shit. They might even, I hope the conspiracy theorists are wrong about what's going on in Hollywood and with the elitists. Oh man, seems like a lot of things they're saying is coming to fruition, and I hope they're all wrong, because I'd hate to know that's going on, and we don't do nothing about pedophilia in this country. But I did look up a stat. Looks like sex trafficking is down. Been a lot of arrests anyways in the country over the last few years. But that's a whole nother conversation. I want to show you one last film, or one last little video, and then we'll talk about why we need to tell our little beta male white friends and elitists to stop being racist, stop calling us racist, and maybe we can sit down and have a conversation. But let's see what civil rights leader Malcolm X said about white liberals. And he was saying this a long time ago. He hits the nail on the head, and I'm sure there's a lot of conservatives that don't like Malcolm X. They see him as being racist or whatever, but Malcolm X talked about bringing the black community up within itself, and that's how it needs to be. There's things that Malcolm X talked about I don't agree with. He said he was a communist. I'm not for sure that he really was, because he also talked about black entrepreneurship and building the community up, and I'm not for sure how you could do that with communism. But anyways, this is one thing he did hit the nail on the head with. And let me get this up here. Some of you guys might have seen this, but some of you haven't.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to, but the fox will fool you.
American.
Now, you could look up Malcolm X and hear him say a lot of things about white liberals. He doesn't necessarily talk great about white conservatives either, but he definitely sees the problem with the white liberals. And you can watch some other videos, and he talks about how they come in acting like they're trying to help the community, but they're just looking for a vote, looking to get something out of it. And that's how they treated poor whites as well. All through Appalachia there, a lot of Appalachia was voting Democrat for a long time. You had the unions with the coal mines, and the unions come in, and they were voting Democrat for a long time, and finally kind of gotten away from that. You gotta get off the welfare system, and you gotta go out there and do it on your own, and build up your own community. But that's really well, the point I'm trying to get across here is that we have to stop bowing down when people call us racist and bigots and sexist and being all scared, because those are, I mean, those are the most racist people. They can't stand us. They hate us. Any black person that leaves the Democrat plantation, they treat them like garbage. Worse than they treat white people that have left the Democrat Party. Just treat them terrible. They're showing their face. But we need more people to see it, because if people's going to run as a Democrat, they got to start being more accountable of their policies. You know, maybe read some history. But white liberals, stop being white saviors. Stop thinking that you are better and smarter than everybody else. That's racist. And when you are with your own people, that's shitty. We don't need your help. We don't need your education. We don't need your liberal indoctrination. We're just fine. So no matter how we want to live or how we want to think, we don't need you ruling over us. Stop trying to save us, and have a nice day. And before I end, give me a sub, give me a like, give me a comment. I'm going to keep doing this for a while. COVID-19 is ruining my business, so I got a little more time on my hand, and I'm want to get on here and complain about that and make the silent majority not silent anymore. So you guys have a good night.